Welcome back to Guess Who's Coming, the podcast that dives into the gluten-free world with inspiring stories and practical advice. Today, we are joined by Morgan from How to Coeliac, who has navigated a move from New Zealand to London while maintaining a gluten-free lifestyle. Welcome, Morgan.
Thank you. It's so lovely to be here.
How are you?
I'm good.
I mean, we're here to talk about, being celiac. So you are celiac, right?
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell us about your background and, your backstory and how you got diagnosed and, tell us about everything?
Are we allowed to talk about bowel movements?
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
Great. Because that's how I always get into my diagnosis story is that the only symptom that I was like, oh, this isn't quite right was the fact that starting off with a bang, I never had like a regular bowel movement for more than like a day. So I would swing backwards and forwards between constipation and diarrhea. Absolutely. And I had decided to move to London and I was like, gosh, maybe I should get that fixed. I don't know what the healthcare system's like in the UK. I didn't know what the NHS was like. And so I thought I'll go see my doctor because in New Zealand, you're more likely to have a doctor for your whole life. Mm-hmm. And I went to see her and she immediately was like, oh, just get tested for celiac disease. It's probably IBS, but just get tested, which is so unheard of. And after discovering how crazy that is, like, and how difficult it is to be diagnosed with celiac disease, I've come to go like, wow, I was very lucky that was the doctor's first thought. And so I got my blood test on that day. I got a result 2 days later.
No way.
Yeah, and
super fast.
I know, and she was
what
like,
about the health system there? Wow.
It's not necessarily like that for everything in New Zealand. I think I just was very lucky. Sure. And 2 days later, I got a phone call saying, yep, looks like you've got celiac disease. We'll need to put you through to get an endoscopy. Mm-hmm. And then I got a letter about it and I called up and I was like, look, I'm actually leaving the country in that day because I think it was about 2 months after. Wow. I was like, any chance I could fit it in? And they were like, well, actually, we could do it in 2 weeks' time.
Wow. And
so I got the endoscopy. Great experience on my part. Mm-hmm. They knocked me out.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I also learned that not everyone gets knocked out.
I know.
With a tube down your throat.
I know. And how old are you when you...
Oh, 22.
Okay, I was 11. Yeah. And so the first thing that I said was like, please just get me out. I don't want to feel a thing. And
best sleep of my life.
Yeah. No,
I was like, wow. I woke up so refreshed. And they actually couldn't see necessarily damage at that stage, but they took a biopsy and then it came back that I had celiac disease. And I got told, and basically the next week I moved to London.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. I mean, I ask everybody that we had here what were the symptoms because I feel like every celiac has its own story.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. I got x-rays from my hand and I discovered, because I was 11, but my bone structure was super small, not very developed, physically developed, when you're growing up.
Yeah.
And so they were like, you're 11, but your bone structure is the one of a 9-year-old girl.
Oh my God.
So maybe there's something wrong there. And I was like, okay. So I feel I always ask because everybody has its own story. Different. So that's crazy. So you got diagnosed and not even had time to realize that you moved to London?
Yeah, basically. I think it may have been 2 weeks.
But you moved here for work or just to...
so many people just moved to London.
Yeah, that's why. Maybe you were young, you wanted something different.
Yeah, exactly. New Zealand's so small. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I assumed there'd be more options to discover that over here. For some reason, I think I must have watched Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who, and I watched that as a child. And my mum recently found my old diary, and it said one of my goals was to move to London. And I wrote when I was 12, and I completely forgot. And I was like, gosh, well, I'd be happy with myself.
Stuck in the back of your head.
The only reason I thought I would have written that was because of Doctor Who.
No way. So before being diagnosed, did you know about celiac or gluten-free? Did you know anything about that word? And also, because I'm so interested, because of course I'm Italian. I was born there, so I know the story of Italian gluten-free situations. Yes. But what about New Zealand? Is there? I mean, I follow your content, and I know there are so many. I mean, not maybe so many. I mean, you're gonna tell me options for gluten-free people as well. But how's the situation there?
Situation in New Zealand.
So interesting.
Well, I did know, to answer the first part of the question, I did loosely know about celiac disease because someone I worked with had it. I often think that I cursed myself because I worked at a restaurant with, her name's Annalisa, and she had celiac disease. And she basically, she brought awareness to the restaurant about like gluten-free diets. And I remember I was serving someone and they were like, do you have any gluten-free things? Because I have celiac disease. And I said, instead of saying, oh, yes, someone here has celiac disease, so we know how to handle that, I said, I have celiac disease.
No way.
So I know exactly what you're talking about. And I was like, why did I just lie about that? I don't even think it was a lie because I probably had celiac disease at that stage. So I knew a little bit about it, but not much. And then, to be honest, I find it, I'm not as knowledgeable about the situation in New Zealand.
Sure, because
I just moved straight away. I mean, like Coeliac NZ, the foundation, was like, be an ambassador. And I was like, great. Except I don't know much about what goes on in New Zealand. So I go, okay, I'll try my best. But every time I've been back, I've been like pleasantly surprised at the general awareness.
And also what a beautiful way to like fell in love with your country again.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I go back and I seek out all the things that I loved growing up eating.
Sure.
And there's always a gluten-free version of it. I think the supermarkets are great. The only thing is it's just probably triple the price of food is in general in New Zealand, but even gluten-free food is like insanely expensive.
It's always like, I know it's always more expensive, but
yeah. I mean, it'd be like the loaves of bread could be about £5 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, what can you do? It's not as many celiacs.
In Italy, it was always, can I get a pizza? Yeah, it's going to be like a €3.50 plus for you because you're special.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Do you get prescriptions?
Yes. I mean, it works that in Italy, it's always, I mean, when you get diagnosed with celiac disease, the government gives you like tickets to spend each month.
Right.
So it's cool. I mean, you know, we are kind of the specials of the country in a way.
Definitely.
But it's always once I discovered that I was celiac, now that I live alone, I cook myself, everything. And so I kind of experimented like the way to cook without even have to use gluten, for example.
Exactly.
So it's always so cool. And you were diagnosed with celiac disease and you moved to London. So basically you started learning how to be a gluten-free girl in another city.
Absolutely.
So how was that?
Well, the initial plane ride was terrible because I didn't get a gluten-free meal.
Oh my God.
It's like 30 hours.
Oh my God.
I got here and I was so freaking hangry, but that's fine. I had like a bag of M&Ms. But
wow.
let me think. I moved here, I'm casting my mind back, and I think I was like, there's gluten-free, free from sections in every supermarket. She'll be right. I think I was quite lucky because while it was a big life change, it always is to like move to a completely different diet.
Absolutely.
I also just was in a period of massive change and adjustment anyway. So it sort of just slipped into that, like adjusting to being in a new city. Might as well just adjust to eating a different way. And so I didn't necessarily find it too hard. In fact, I thought that the options here were incredible. And I think London's probably one of the best places, maybe, except for Northern Italy, to be a celiac.
Actually, like we talked about also with the Italian version of the podcast, I had the chance to talk to Italians, and I feel like Italy kind of woke up later in a way, because when I was 11, nobody knew what gluten-free was.
Yeah.
And I have this joke that I was like, I'm celiac. Are you Celtic? What is that? No, I swear. So I feel like nowadays Italy is one of like the best places because at least they know, like the conversation is out, like people know what gluten-free and what being celiac is. Yeah. And also, I mean, I live now in Rome and there's always like gluten-free options. So I'm always like super safe. But again, when I was younger and I used to travel a lot, I mean, I still travel, but as a young girl, I was very lucky enough to just like travel a lot. And I came here many times and I've always thought about like London to be one of the greatest about like gluten-free because there were always options. Also in the small bakeries, they were like, we have vegan and gluten-free as well, super available. So I bet you were kind of in a perfect, you know, maybe city to find that out.
Yeah. I didn't start really thinking about it until I went to Rome.
There you go.
Rome's the reason I started my Instagram.
Okay, perfect. There you go. So
I just remember that. I had a really freaking good pizza in Rome, and I was like, people need to know about this. Of course, people already knew there's a massive gluten-free community online, but I was like, wow, other gluten-free people need to know about this specific pizza. It was my first post on Instagram was like,
no way.
Yeah, it was some pizza. I can't remember where, but it was in Rome. And I remember going and I was like, wow. Went to Mama Eat, which is classic. They're everywhere.
My God. Yeah. Shout out to Mama Eat. Oh my God.
Huge shout out.
Yeah, they're so, oh my God.
It's so good.
And there are like 3 locations in Rome.
Yeah.
So whatever you, like, there's always one near you.
There's one close to the Vatican, I think that's when I went to.
In Borgo Pio. Yeah. I had like, I had the best pasta there.
Yeah.
It was just like, whatever, but it's just like so good. So I bet the pizza there is amazing. I always get the mortadella and pistachio.
Oh, wow.
I know. I want to, treat myself.
I went to Milan recently and I went to the Mama Eat there and we had the potato croquette that's like.
I know.
That's
like
that
long.
Big. I know. And it's got
like
some sort of pistachio cream on it.
It's just like, oh my God, what about like this? Okay, wait, why are we going to...
Mama Eat fan club.
Yeah. Let's talk about food. Okay, so you started out, like you were in Rome, you had this great pizza and you're like, okay, let me tell about that.
Yes.
So how did your journey with social media started and how it developed during this?
I love an Instagram. I have always sort of worked, as soon as I finished my degree, actually I had a terrible job working as a warranty advisor.
Oh my God.
At Nissan and Kia. So boring.
I love the way that you...
Good God, I hate that job. Oh my God. Literally, I'd get like...
You were so real about that.
Like, I'd just sit in an office and I'd look at like cars and the new cars and they needed things fixed and I'd approve them. That was my job. So boring. And I'd just come out of a degree in musical theatre. So like it was possibly the other end of a spectrum of things that were interesting. And
so
anyway.
It's the life of an artist.
Exactly.
Right?
I
love musicals. We don't have to talk about that. That means we're going to stay here forever.
No, yeah, true.
Here. Oh my God.
So true. Yeah. So I went from like a very colourful, vibrant life to a very boring one. I was like, screw this, I need to do something else. My second job out of studying was working in for a charity that created stories about people in my city that had done amazing things post-earthquake, because we had a really devastating earthquake in 2011. Honestly, I went back. I was just in New Zealand last month. There's still rubble. Like it's been 12 years.
Wow.
13 years. But anyway, obviously out of devastation, there's always pockets of communities doing incredible things. And basically my job was to go around, interview people about the things that they're doing and post that to social media. And I was like, I freaking love this. So I had always, from there, I had a love of social media.
And also the community around that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that was like probably the coolest job. Like the people I met were just, I go every day, like I'll think about them all the time. Like there was a man that he didn't get paid, but he mowed the lawn of the area where all of the houses were like demolished and it was just grass and no one asked him to do it. He just got a freaking lawnmower and he just did it all the time so it didn't become basically a grassland. People like raising awareness about breast cancer and kitchens and dance clubs for old people. It was great. Anyway, so I was like, this is such a...
Don't rush, don't worry. I love that. It's just great.
Talk about and it was really fun, and that I always had like a very positive view of social media because that was probably my first proper experience.
Yeah, and what about that experience though?
Yeah, what an amazing one. And so I always was interested in creating my own Instagram. I just didn't really. You always need a niche. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Luckily, I've always loved food. Eat forever. I just freaking love eating. And then when I got diagnosed with celiac disease, I was kind of like, well, that's good because because I need something specific. Like you could be a food blogger in London, but my God, there's so many places to eat. Like if you had the choice of everything, I always had a thought, thank goodness I can only have gluten-free food because there is too much choice here. I'd be so stressed out picking places to eat. Which is a very strange way to look at it. But
no, I do it. Like I think the same way. Yeah, honestly.
Even so
many.
I have this list of places I got to get to. It's like 40 places I've not been to that I need to try out. No, it's it's never ending, and there's places popping up all the time.
And also because, for example, like in Italy, there's always Italian food, you don't get a lot of maybe other like country or whatever. So here there's like a variety of like places. It's crazy.
So
like,
true.
Can we get Chinese today or whatever? Let's go to Vietnamese or let's get. It's crazy.
There's so much also South American food, specifically arepa. I'd never had that until I moved here. And they're everywhere, and obviously naturally gluten-free. So I got diagnosed, had a great pizza. I was like, I'm putting this online. And then I started off sort of, because I was still reasonably new. I think I was diagnosed in 2018 and I had that pizza in 2019, and I sort of started my Instagram sort of in before the pandemic, so in 2019 as well. And because I was still learning about celiac disease myself, I was doing a little bit of like information, like interesting facts about celiac disease, just teaching myself more closely.
Sure. Absolutely.
The name actually, How to Celiac, I sort of not stole it, but commandeered the idea of this other Instagram or this other page in New Zealand called How to Dad. And he's this like New Zealand dad that makes really funny videos about being a dad, and like it's just, and I was like, that's great. I'm going to use that, How to Celiac, because I didn't know.
Sure.
And I was sort of figuring out for myself.
You were kind of documenting your way of knowing about being celiac.
Yeah, exactly. When the pandemic hit, not a lot of places to go.
Sure.
So I focused all of my energy on recreating my favorite New Zealand baked goods that I had growing up. Because there wasn't any online. There wasn't specifically gluten-free recipes for New Zealand foods.
Amazing.
Weirdly, I made this biscuit called a squiggle.
Squiggle?
Yeah. And so delicious. Best biscuits ever. And it got on New Zealand news.
No way.
It was obviously deep pandemic, nothing else to talk about. So I had the friggin' news reporters, the overseas London news reporters from a New Zealand news company come to my house and do a new segment on me making these biscuits. And I was like, that's so weird. But I was like, whatever. Nothing else going on. I got made redundant, so I literally had nothing else going on.
So this dude coming to your bar.
Like big freaking news camera. And they were like interviewing me about it. I was like, yeah, well, I guess I just like eating. And you obviously can't get those biscuits over here, and you certainly can't get them gluten-free, so I thought I'd make them, and here I am. And then the recipe, like I posted, there's a page called Kiwis in London. I'm sure there'll be like Italians in London pages and stuff like that. I posted the recipe there, and like people just, I think about now, it's probably only got 400 or 500 likes.
I love the fact that it's called Kiwis.
Yeah.
Love it.
Rather than
love it. Shout out to Kiwis. Love that.
Kiwis in London, heck yeah.
No way. And that like in that moment you were like, yeah, maybe I did something right.
I was like, I've obviously tapped a very specific market of people looking for gluten-free food in London, regardless of not gluten-free, New Zealand food in London, regardless of whether it was gluten-free or not. And so I was like, yeah, I'm just going to follow this thread. So I ended up making quite a few New Zealand recipes, and then I did that for a while. What happened then?
I mean, so have you ever like cooked before, or is that a passion that
not necessarily cooked, but baked. So my grandma is like the best baker in the world.
Oh
like she doesn't think so. She'll never say so. She'll be, it's dry.
You have a New Zealand nonna.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
That. I love
and she's
that.
like this big.
Oh my God.
And she's like, she'll bake anything. She'll be, the oven. She's like, the oven, it's not, like, it's not my best. I'm not very happy with it.
The ingredients in the oven is sure.
And she'll be like, it's probably dry more. It's probably, it's not very good. But I went to their house basically every day after school, and I'd help her bake stuff, or she'd just be supplying me with baked goods. So lucky. And so I just was like, I'm just going to try make them gluten-free, because God forbid I go without them for the rest of my life.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm very food-led.
No way.
And so I started doing some of her recipes, and I did that for a while. Obviously, the pandemic was a terrible time, and you just don't leave the house. Long story short, I didn't end up leaving the house that often.
Sure,
and
I mean,
none of us were. And I ended up going a bit stir crazy, and I sort of branched off from recipes because, I mean, it is expensive to keep making things. Oh, my God, the batches I was talking about. Oh, my God. I made one biscuit called a mint slice. Mm-hmm. It's a mint chocolate biscuit.
Oh, my God. You know, it's my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love mint chocolate.
It's freaking good.
Yeah. Love it.
Oh, man.
Not many love that, though.
No, but...
It's called also After 8 or something.
Yes, So there's like a mint chocolate biscuit in New Zealand. My dad's favorite as well. It's big dad's favorite.
Yeah.
And I... remade that, and I couldn't get the recipe right. I was eating it. I was like, why does this mint taste like literal garbage? And I made about 4 different batches of it, and I just couldn't get it right, putting less and less mint in each time.
No way.
And my partner was like eating them one day, and he's like, what are you talking about? These are great. These taste exactly like it. And I discovered that mint and banana were the only 2 flavors I couldn't taste after having COVID.
No way.
Yeah, and I was like, not that I couldn't taste it. It tasted like garbage. Yeah. It was disgusting. I would eat it. I'd be like, oh my God, it tastes like I had an ashtray in my mouth.
No way.
Them and bananas. Bananas tasted overly sweet. No. After 2 years, it came back.
No way. Yeah, my mom got that. Very
really
similar.
Odd.
Like,
that and paprika.
So banana and paprika. Yeah. No way.
Paprika, bananas, mint chocolate, maybe strawberry tea. Because while I had COVID, they were the only flavors I was having because I couldn't eat anything but bananas and strawberry tea and paprika potatoes and brushing my teeth with mint toothpaste.
No way.
So, yeah.
That's
they
crazy.
all just change. But yeah, that was a bit of a sidebar. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, so I was going crazy during the pandemic. I was literally like, and so I started making skit videos about being gluten-free because there's a lot to, I think, have a laugh about.
Yeah.
Rather than...
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. And I prefer to have a laugh.
Girl, me too.
Than
Love
to be annoyed about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you started making recipe. Should we talk about a book, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we should. So since then, I've been trying to finish my New Zealand recipe, like baking cookbook. And I've got 5 recipes to go, and then I'm done and I'll be able to put it out. It's not through any publisher, so it will come out in probably a couple of different forms. I'll try and make a book myself, but it'll be online as well. But yeah, it's going to have like 70 recipes from New Zealand that are very...
Wow.
There's a few like classic ones, just like cakes and that I like, but majority of them are things you wouldn't get over this side of the world.
I can't wait to see it
anywhere outside of New Zealand.
I'm so interested after hearing the story. Come on. So
you'll be like, what the hell? Like some of the biscuits are called like, there's like a Belgian biscuit, nothing to do with Belgium.
Yeah.
No idea why it's called that. Probably because they put some spice in it and they're like, they make gingerbread right in Belgium. So let's call this a Belgian biscuit.
Amazing. So now that you're here in London, like, did you create a community of people here? You think like, speaking of course in English, which is more international, that you created like kind of a international community. When you travel, you get the chance to, I don't know, meet other celiacs. So how that's changed?
Yes, definitely. Well, there's such a lovely gluten-free community in London, firstly. Like, everyone's so nice and we all go to the same things. We all get invited to the same places, and there's the free from festivals and the gluten-free food shows and stuff. A couple are coming up, actually. So I've made friends with Matt.
Yes, of course.
And amongst a lot of other people. And so that's really lovely, and it's really good because recently I've just gone freelance just to do social media stuff, my own and other people. Thank you. Sure. And also finish this damn cookbook. And so I have, it's so nice to have people to chat to because
of course,
while I hate working in an office and I find it really stifling, the one thing I love is having colleagues. And so not having that's been a bit like something I'll get an email and I'll be like, looking around the room, like, who am I supposed to talk to about this? My cat.
I guess. What you told me is you cannot eat gluten or no way.
Well, to be fair, my cat is also gluten-free, so he gets it. He gets it. He just gets a real sore tummy if he has some, and he eats lots of grass and throws up everywhere.
No way. That's so crazy. So it's so cool. So you love being here, like
love being here, definitely.
Amazing. You have the chance to just like travel back and forth sometimes New Zealand?
More or less. Not really, because it is bloody expensive. It's like, I think I'm trying to book
72 hours of flight.
Oh my God.
Get there.
It's exhausting. And I mean, I recently went back, but that was for like sort of a family, like personal reason. to see like my grandparents and stuff. And one of them's like not doing too well at the moment. But other than that, I probably try to get back once every 2 years, although I am going back at the end of the year because I'm getting married, and we're trying to book our tickets at the moment, and they're like £1,500 return. And I'm just like, I've saved up. That's it took me months to save up for it, but I'm like, that's fine. It's just so much money.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but excited to go back, of course.
Of course.
Excited to get married.
That is so cool. I just imagine like a wedding in New Zealand is going to be cool.
Yeah, it's on the beach too.
No way, come on. Wow.
I've actually got my favourite not restaurant. I guess it's a restaurant. It's called Shaka Bros.
I love the name. Like, I'm learning so many things. Okay.
They make incredible burgers, and they do really good gluten-free ones. And so they're catering. They're driving up their truck, and they're just going to serve it.
Wow, shout out to them. This is so cool, girl. And so I feel like one of them, like, what was your, first challenges that you've found out when you like moved here? And because I feel like sometimes gluten-free people are kind of scared to travel because of like their diet, and they limit themselves a little bit. So what are your tips on that, you think? I love the fact that you just like went with it. You're like, okay, just go.
Yep, that's literally
let's just go with it.
Yeah, I do.
Just move into another country and find that out.
Yeah, you're saying that, and I'm like, that is a theme in my life, is I have a shocking lack of foresight. I don't think about things before I do them, like ever. So like I need to learn the lesson and then I'll consider it. So a lot of the times I've just sort of put myself in situations like getting on a plane with no food and being like, oh my God, this is terrible. I'll plan for that next time. But in terms of like traveling, I would hope in my heart that no one necessarily feels like they can't go anywhere because of dietary requirements, because their world is so vast and so beautiful, and there's so many experiences to be had. Like, it will be different. Sometimes you won't be able to have the local cuisine, which is the one thing I'm sad about, is I wish I could try food from every place in the world.
Me too.
So badly. There's some things I'm like, one day there'll be a gluten-free version of it, and I'll get to it. But I would say just bring your snacks.
It's all about the snacks.
It's all about the snacks. It's about like having knowledge of how to make natural gluten-free foods. If you go traveling, try get to a place that has a kitchen. Like, try stay in, maybe not necessarily an Airbnb, but like somewhere that has a kitchen that you can cook your own stuff in, and then still experience it. I would also say that research.
Oh, yeah,
because
for sure.
you don't want to go to a place and then like later find out, wait, they did gluten-free empanadas, they did gluten-free this, and I didn't know about it. I mean, to be fair, when I travel anywhere, I create a map. And you shouldn't need to. Like, you should be able to find people that already have those resources. And so I will probably base my trips around where I can eat, to be fair.
Honestly, yes, because like there's no many maybe places in a city, and of course you have to plan about that.
So true.
So true.
And then when you go to amazing places like Italy and Spain and like Barcelona, I couldn't get it. I couldn't get to enough of them. I didn't have the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, but yeah.
I actually tasted I ate for the first time a gluten-free burger in Madrid, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Madrid, apparently great bakeries.
Yeah, bakeries. Yeah. I tried a cupcake. Was gluten-free there at a place that we actually just mentioned yesterday in another episode, which is Delicioso.
Oh, what a
delicious,
name.
But with the C of like celiac, you know.
Incredible name.
Yeah. Delicious.
Are you going to get time to go places here?
Yeah, actually, we it's not my first time here in London.
Great.
I love this city. Like, I'm so, calm, and I just like so serene in a way because there's so many options. So it's always good. Like super good to eat here.
Have you been to Libby's?
No, yeah. But I love to be here because I met so many incredible like content creators just like you, and they named so many places. So I know that I have like people. So I know that I have like people to ask, next time. It's just like so crazy. But like I want to ask you like the last question, but not less important. What about the sandwiches, girl? what is your obsession with that and your reviews? I love that. Because you just like every detail of the sandwich, from the bread, everything. You just like analyze it, you know?
Well, first and foremostly, I don't even eat that many sandwiches. I just love a series. Yeah. And I think what happened is I was going to supermarkets and I was seeing some gluten-free options and I was like, these are all kind of the same. Actually, it probably came from a few years ago. I did a biscuit series and I realized that all of the biscuits at the main supermarkets were the same.
Yeah.
They were the exact same. They were coming from the same product, factories. They were just packaged differently. But anyway, so I was like, I want to see if there is a difference in these sandwiches and if any of them are actually good.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so I was like, I guess I'll just have to try them all.
It's always about the bread.
It's about the bread. It's about the bread. It's about them. All of them have. They're so bad now to me. Like I think even if there was a good one, I'd probably be like, that's fine, I guess. But it's just.
Like, thank you for the option in case I'm, just like starving.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
And there's some that, there's some that are so horrible. My rule for myself is I have to, if I see a new one, I have to buy it. And I'd just gone out for dinner last night and I walked into a little Waitrose and I saw the gluten-free egg salad Waitrose sandwich. And I was like, damn it, I've never seen this. I'm going to have to get it. And then
I have to.
Oh my God, it was like there is nothing I felt like less in that moment at 10 p.m. at night than an egg salad sandwich.
Oh my God.
And so it's not, poor Waitrose, they're not going to get a good rating. But yeah, it's a bit of fun and I know a lot of people feel passionate about it.
No way.
Half the comments are like,
come and try our sandwich.
No, more like people from other countries going, well, you should just be grateful you have the option. And I'm like, no.
Exactly.
I shan't be grateful. Yeah. This is rubbish.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, for sure. Like, okay. Have you ever like tried the pizzas that you go out with your friends? They have like this most amazing pizzas and your gluten-free version is like a frisbee.
And more expensive.
Like super, it's just like.
Yeah, I actually just made a video about that yesterday.
There you go. I mean, of course, thank you. But can we make it a little bit tastier?
It's not hard.
Yeah. Oh my God. I cannot wait to see other like sandwiches review, girl.
There's not that many. I've only got a few more to go. And then I'm done. And I'll never touch them again.
Yeah, but then you have to switch to a new item, you know?
Yes, it will probably have to be.
Come on, give us some spoilers here.
Well, I like to do seasonal bits. Annoyingly, I was too busy and towards Easter because I would have done a hot cross bun review. Love a hot cross bun review. But I think I'll have to do
like the small, like there's so many.
I think there's too many.
Yeah, too many.
I don't know that I could.
No. Yeah, you're so right.
I probably want to pick something more delicious.
Yeah,
ideally.
Let's go with pizza, girl. Come on.
Pizza.
Yeah, because you can do it like in every single other country, you know?
That's so true.
Italy, oh my God.
But they'll all be good and then I'll have to come back here.
Exactly.
To be fair, there are a couple of really good places. Good effing pizza's really lovely.
I cannot wait for your next series then. Morgan, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I love to hear your story and I cannot wait to see other contents that you're going to make. So,
thank you. It's so lovely to chat to you.
So lovely to chat to you too.
I feel like chat you for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
I run my mouth a lot.
Me too. I think we could be here for another, 3 hours and just, talk about life. Yeah, and musicals maybe. We should definitely do maybe a podcast about musicals.
That would be great.
Thank you again, Morgan.
No worries.